gracious host for the hot seat, Greg Cardone.
Welcome, 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 and welcome back to another exciting show of The Hot Seat. I'm your host, Greg Cardone, and today we have a very special guest. We have the man, the myth, the legend in his own mind, the genius and mastermind behind the award-winning film Grinders, Andrew J. Heller. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Greg. It's a great pleasure and honor to be on the hot seat. Well, I said I wasn't going to say and I started out with it right off the bat. So there you go. But it's a great show. I've watched some of the previous shows, and thank you for having me on. It's a great pleasure.
No, we're reaching the pinnacle of our interviews, and you're the Mount Everest of our interviews. So
that's a tall order.
Just hit you hard right off the bat here. This is great.
Well, I hope I can produce.
Everybody wants to know, and inquiring minds, what gave you the idea to write, script, produce, direct, act in it? You are a man multifaceted in this shoot. So please give us a little insight to how you came about with this.
That's a very intricate question, and I could probably speak on that for about an hour, but I'll try to be as short and succinct as I possibly can, because I've been writing my whole life and I've been in the industry my whole life, which is better than 50 years. Actually, it's a means to an end. I started this whole venture because I was trying to make a movie about two kids from different sides of the tracks called A Gift of the Heart. And that had to deal with cancer and the disparities in the social and economic existences of people and people that come from different countries. Nothing political or religious in any way, shape, or form. Just basically telling a story about real life. And I had worked on it so diligently for 6 years. I just decided that there had to be a better way. There had to be another way to get there. And that's when I came up with the concept of Grinders. I was like, well, if I target, let me look at the genres that are available that really take off. If you do it right and you target it the right way, cult classic stuff, you either hit or you miss. I mean, it's risky, but at the same time, the payoff can be so big. And so that's what I went for. I said, I've got this much money, I got this much time, and if I can make this work and I do it the right way, written the right way, and target it the right way, I have a better than average chance of making it a success, for not only just for me, but for everybody else, which gets me a step closer to getting to my passion project, which is A Gift of the Heart. So that's kind of sort of how I got to that conclusion.
I read the script that you sent me because I had no idea about The Gift of the Heart. You were always talking about it, that this was something that was your ultimate passion to make. And I watched the trailer. It touched me. It really did. And I know that if a film can reach out to you emotionally, you have something there. Because there's a lot of films or movies that you watch and you're like, okay, well, I never felt a connection in the movie. But just reading that short script and watching some of that trailer that you did, I was looking at it thinking, this is something. Totally different than what we're doing now. It's on the other spectrum of the scale.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a completely different genre, and I'm very fortunate insofar as I can write in any format, any genre, any uh, flavor, so to speak, because I've written my whole life. I started writing out poetry. I've got two books of poetry that are probably 400 pages worth that have not been released to the public yet, which will in due course. But I also have children's books. I have children's books for the 3 to 5 year old range, from the 8 to 11 year old range, and then I have adult books as well. So I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed that I can kind of slot myself into anything that I wish creatively to present, which is, a gift, I guess. And for most people, they can take it as they wish. I mean, everybody has their belief systems, but so do I, and I certainly believe it's a gift. And I think Grinders, in that respect, was also a gift because it came naturally, it came fluidly, and it grew quickly. And there are a lot of people that got behind it very rapidly to make it a success, you included. I mean, you played Sheriff Bedford Chansey. We incorporated a lot of exceptionally talented people behind and in front of the camera, one of which was Trevor Sherwood. After we did the POC, which is commonly called a proof of concept, I had him play the part of Jackson Hardy, which is a really sleazeball Carlot, guy. But when you're dealing with a town that has 299.5 people in it, a little tongue-in-cheek, dark humor, he really fit that dynamic, and I really got him to play that bland, I just want you to buy a car. I really don't care if it works or not because I'm not responsible for it. And he did such a great job of it. And once we got the POC done and we started to chase down the funding, because I didn't have enough personally to fund the whole thing myself, he was very gracious. Trevor Sherwood, not only to play the part of Jackson Hardy, but also to give up some of his finances to help fund the rest of it. So I'm very grateful to him. Juan Ruiz Lopez, who was the DP, was absolutely exceptional. Really understood the concept, the genre, the view. Samantha Trupner, Katie Payne, who plays my girlfriend. I'm in the movie as the half brother, and then you have Dwayne Red Brockmeyer, who's just completely the opposite. Who's a half brother, and of course we have a little tit for tat where I say I can't believe that our mother slept with his daddy, kind of thing. So, you keep that kind of dark humor sense of flavor going to it, which lends itself to the cult classic genre, but that doesn't just happen. I mean, you don't just put it out there and it becomes a cult classic. It grows over time. It's something that grows on you, and once people get into it, then it feeds on itself. And those are the people that I really have a lot of graciousness to. Johnny Farace,
Adriana
I
Ferragamo.
mean, I cannot, Adriana Ferragamo helped a ton in the early going with the early edits while Juan was busy doing editing on another film. So the two of us worked hand in hand and did, an intense amount of work to get it to where it is today. And I'm very thankful to everybody. I think everybody should feel very proud because in the end result, I mean, when you look at it from a global scale, everyone should be happy that they have accomplished such a great thing first time out. 52 awards and 82 nominations globally. I mean, with no names and just, students and no name people. And really it took all of us to work exponentially and extravagantly hard to make that happen. And we had our pitfalls and things, and one of them was I almost died in the middle of it, but graciously I had a great cast and a great crew that picked up the pieces and kept it moving so we could get it finished. And for that I will be eternally grateful regardless of whatever happens, because it is a good product for what we put forward, for what we wrote, for what we produced. And it took all of us, every one of us, paying exceptional attention. And I am exceptionally grateful to each and every one of them.
Well, it definitely was a life-changing experience, at least for me. Just not having any expectations. We did a film, and as they say, it all started with a Facebook post looking for this person. I don't even know if I still have that. That would have been pretty, we probably could look back and find it as some sort of memorabilia. But to answer a Facebook post and submit the tape, I still have the original audition tape. Maybe we'll play it. You never know. I have to dig it out of the archives. So just off the top of my head.
You never know. It might be there somewhere.
It's somewhere. When you receive the submissions, and I know when I was working with Trevor comes over and I help him, and we help each other with self-tapes and reads. I said, Trevor, you need to do this, because Trevor is a comedian in his own mind. He just is so off the cuff. The bloopers that come out of the Cardone soundstage,
right,
are amazing. He's that old school improv, crazy off the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. But the beauty of it with you is that I've worked with other directors, and no names. I don't need to mention anybody, but you explain to the actor what you want. We have no idea. Here's some lines, read them. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted. I have no idea what you wanted. This is how I interpreted your script and how I would read it. But with you came back and said, I want you to do it a little bit this way. You just kind of took me, I was going down the road, and you just kind of helped me, make a right turn there. And you told me what you wanted. And the same thing with Trevor. So that is something that we found with you as the director and a lot of the other cast members, was you're an acting director, or a director's actor, however you want to put it. So mm-hmm. Do you find that that's something a little bit different that you bring forth in your films?
I certainly do. I've studied some of the greatest directors in the world: Alfred Hitchcock, Ron Howard, Sergio Leone. The list could go on if I could remember them all at the immediate moment, but obviously not. And they all bring a unique perspective. And what I found was that most of the really best directors were previously actors. because they viewed things from a different angle. They viewed things not only from a director's perspective, but they also viewed it from the perspective of an actor. How would an actor look at what a director is asking of them? And so I always learned to be compensatory in that manner, because as an actor, and that's where I started, and then I became a writer, and then I worked behind the camera, then I became a director and a producer, etc., etc. I realized that the invaluableness of giving an actor direction was not just being a director, but if you could give them an insight from a director slash actor's perspective. Where I've always been, I mean, Ron Howard's always been like that. Tarantino wasn't really much of an actor, but he really speaks to that kind of genre. He speaks to the actor as if he were an actor, not just a director. And that really helps an actor grasp the concept of the characterization that the director is looking for. And, you know, I had a lot of talented people try out for these roles. And I want them to understand that this is part of the industry. It's nothing personal. You weren't picked because you weren't good. I was looking for a specific kind of flavor and interpretation. And if you got it quickly, then it gave me something to work with. And as you know personally, I gave everybody that I thought could fit that role the opportunity to take some of my direction and give me what I was looking for. And when I saw it, I knew, okay, I can work with this. I can mold this actor. I can give this actor the direction they need to give me the flavor and the depth and the subtext. I think that's a good word right there, where actors get lost in peripheral. They don't get into the subtext of what a character really is. Good. And that's what I found, and that's why I think I had such great actors, and for some of them that had never acted before, and they were like, you spent so much time being so positive and giving us such good input and insight and saying, you know, you got this, just do this and you've got this, because the look is already there. And any actor should know, you know, I've been in it my whole life. At this point, if you're starting out, 50% of everything you do is going to be a look. You got to be cast on a look first off, and then they're going to look to what your qualifications are. Can you carry the role? Can you take direction? And that's kind of how it falls in that genre. But being an actor's director, I think, helps, because I understand when an actor says to me, what do you want? I know exactly how to present it to them where they'll understand it. So I give them the opportunity to present it in that way. And if I still don't see it, then I go, I can't work with that. That's something that comes with training and substantive, you know, character development, which are things that they need to work on over time, you know. And when I started out acting, you know, I was 4 or 5 years old. I mean, I grew over time. I had to learn as well. So nothing is ever a given. You just kind of mutate and look and learn as you go along.
Yeah, you weren't quite in the vaudeville era, but you were pretty close. Well, we're going to take a quick break here and hear from our sponsors. We definitely need sponsors.
Oh, we love sponsors, don't we?
We need sponsors.
We had a couple in the film, too.
So you're definitely going to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that information will be on the back. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration paid for in part by Nuggos Wonder Nuggets. Sie sind wunderbar.
All right. Thank you for our sponsors. We really appreciate that. Right now, we have a video clip that we run, and we would like you, Andrew, when we come back, to kind of give us a little insight on what went on within this scene.
Sure,
was kinda
lay it
funny.
on me.
Oh boy, well, being a Miss Junebug and all, that's quite a big responsibility. You're quite the celebrity, not a lot of people can handle that.
Right, I'm a celebrity, and he get agitated when people come up wanting pictures of me and my crown.
Oh my God. Well, here you go on your account as usual.
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all.
So, Jeff, how a handsome man such as yourself is not hitched?
Oh, well, I kind of like the hunting and fishing life. It's hard to find somebody to go along with that.
You just need a nice country girl like me.
Well, I do like Thelma Lou now, but she's got to know how to cut and grind, if you know what I mean.
Well, alrighty then.
Okay, Andrew, now that we looked at that scene, we all had to contain the laughter in there. Take us through it. Let us know.
Wow. This was from the get-go of the movie to just kind of open and give people a flavor of what we were actually going after for the kind of genre we were chasing, which was called classic dark humor, kind of silly nonsense, but that came with a story, good dialogue, and a little bit of, hack 'em, chop 'em kind of stuff. And actually, as an aside, I actually remember doing one scene with you in the butcher shop, and you and I were talking. You were pseudo, in brackets, investigating, and didn't, you were so astute at what you were doing, you didn't realize that there was somebody in the background stealing barbecue sauce off the shelf, and neither did I. So there's lots of those little quirky nuggets throughout the film, but Amy, that's her real name. She was the Miss Junebug out of the 299.5 people in the town. And of course, the most beautiful, because out of 299.5 people, you probably don't have a lot of beautiful people. So that was, part of the quirk.
She was a one-off.
Yeah, she was a one-off, and we actually say that in the dialogue. It's like, wow, my goodness, that's quite a responsibility. You've been Miss Junebug 10 years in a row. Well, we're placating her, obviously, and she's so vapid that she doesn't get it, but
she was the only one
that's
running.
what makes the whole movie. It kind of sets up the tone for the entire feature, because she's like, oh yeah, and I'm gonna wear my crown, and people get jealous, and but everybody else is just like butt ugly. She's got no competition. Who else you gonna give it to? And she played the role so well, and of course, being the lecherous old butcher of the town. When she walks out, I look at her butt and I go, I ain't say something. So it kind of sets up the whole tone for the movie, really, at that point. And she really did play it off really, really, really well. Unfortunately for her, and I'm I don't want to give away the storyline, but unfortunately she doesn't make it past the first 10 minutes of the film, unfortunately, but it does lead to a comedy of errors.
That was
for sure.
That was the start. She led. She definitely led in the comedy of errors. There was no doubt about it.
Definitely.
It went downhill from there.
Yeah.
We let's we and thank you very much for letting me help collaborate on writing part of the story for the sequel of Grinders 2.
No.
And that the stuff that we come up with is incredible. Everything just comes off the top of your head, and it just keeps moving from there. Okay, we should say this, and it's like next thing you know, it's hysterical. So when both of us are laughing at what we're putting down and how we're portraying it, it's going to make Grinders 2. It does. It definitely takes it to a whole new level. So,
without a doubt. I mean, we step up. It's the difference between diving into a pool off the edge of a pool and going up 15 feet off a diving board and diving into the pool. It's a definite step up, and it really does incorporate a lot of more irreverent humor. It keeps the flavor of the original in it and just quadruples it exponentially to the extent that it's just mind-boggling. And then we get, with a budget, we get to put a name or two in it that people will recognize and go, oh my gosh, it really becomes something greater than what we originally intended, which was really just the start. I mean, everybody starts somewhere, and that's exactly what we did. And the joy of doing that was I had already had a very good grounding of where I wanted number 2 to go, the sequel. And I was like, man, this is just so much work, and I've got so much things to do and so many things to do. And you and I kind of connected on a level with the same kind of dark humor, sense of humor. And while we were collaborating on this, it was just absolutely hysterical. I don't know how many times the two of us had to stop because we couldn't comprehend or keep going because we were laughing so hard we were literally crying, because number 2 is just outstanding. It's really an out of this world experience, and if people love number 1, they're going to be insanely crazy about number 2. And if anybody's out there who wants to throw us
help
some
out.
money to produce number 2, and we're not talking millions of dollars, we're talking 300,000. So that's for a big time movie with some names. It's really not that big, but we've got global distribution in lock. We've got everything else. So, and we have a great script, and half of the cast from the first comes back. And then we add some even quirkier characters and some names, which I'm not at liberty to discuss at this point because of non-disclosure agreements. But we have some cameos and some names of people that are willing to join us for the sequel. So I'm really looking forward to doing the sequel, because that will really showcase why we initially did the first one and why it's won the awards it's won.
I can't wait. I still think about every day. The script goes through my mind. I'm seeing the entire movie. I know it's a weird feeling, but when you start going, okay, I'm reading this. I see the script. I see the script actually here,
Yeah.
And so I've already seen the movie several times in my head, which does bring it to a new level because it helps me familiarize myself with the movie. So when it comes time for it, you're already natural part of you. So you're not acting, you're just being yourself because you assimilated there. I've become a Borg of Grinders too. I assimilated myself with the movie.
Well, you kind of get absorbed into it, especially if you've done the first one, you get absorbed into the character of the character that you're playing, and you just get so deep into that whole different world. It's a different universe that you're in at that moment in time. You're not yourself, you're not something else. You're a character, but it feels real to you, and you're in your view, and your being becomes something that's not you. And I think Eric Morris put it the best way. One of the greatest teachers of film and television and acting is you stop acting, you start being. You start being organic, and whatever comes out of your mouth and your mind becomes real, because you are that character. You're not pretending to be that character. And there was another director that said, if you're acting, then you're not doing us any good. Don't act. Or organic is the way to go. And Eric Morris, I studied with him early on in my career, along with Stanislavski and a whole bunch of other people, and all the methods, Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts and things like that. So I've learned all the techniques, and I applied everything that applied to me, and then used it for my own benefit. And I actually wrote a book called The Actor's Handbook, which you can get at maximusfilms.com, along with my children's books and other books. We're in the process of migrating A Gift of the Heart together, because A Gift of the Heart's book has been out for a couple of years, even though we haven't made the film yet. But that's going to migrate into Maximus Films, because it's now becoming, unified under one roof. And then we're going to have Nuggo's Wonder Nuggets. We're hoping to,
get them
produce
into production.
Nuggets for, because Nuggos actually has a starring role in the sequel, and we're hoping to produce Wonder Nuggets for pups. And people, they say, hey, we buy Wonder Nuggets. And, those are the things that we're trying to do. We're trying to merchandise the things that we do, and sell it not just as an entertainment platform. And we're definitely staying away from any kind of political or religious connotations at all. We're just trying to entertain people and give them things that they would like, shirts, T-shirts, Gift of the Heart, tell people about it, share, love.
It's a good cause.
Be kind.
We're doing it for causes, yes.
Yeah, feed your pup Nuggos Wonder Nuggets. That's going to take us a little bit of time yet, but, I look forward to the day when we can stand together and hold up a bag and say, hey, Nuggos Wonder Nuggets.
Well, if it gets big enough, we would love to be able to, donate some of the proceeds to, pet foundations and, whomever else. So, helping us will help other causes in here. So
yeah, I mean, from my own personal perspective, having lost my mom, my sister, some of my best friends, and some people from school to cancer, A Gift of the Heart is obviously my passion project. I want to do that, but I need a couple $1 million to do that. And Grinders is a means to an end. So I really encourage people to go see it, comment, subscribe, do whatever it is they need to do to help us get the money together to do A Gift of the Heart, because that's the $1 billion maker. And if you read the whole purpose behind the films that I make, it's not about making me rich. It's not about making me money. I can honestly say that we made Grinders while I was, and still am to a certain extent, living out of my car. So it's all about your purpose, your drive, and your impetus as to where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you want to present it. And the objective is not to be worth millions of dollars and do absolutely nothing with it. My purpose has always been to take the majority of whatever is left, after paying the critical people that need to be paid, and taking 95% of that and giving it back to the communities that need it on a global scale, and give it to the people that need it. People, children with cancer, people that have to deal with animals that are left abandoned, anything that we should be doing as human beings is to really, if I have the capacity to do that, I have a roof over my head, a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house. I don't need a mansion. I don't need to drive a Mercedes. Let's take that money and turn it back to where it's needed most, to the people that need it most. Homeless veterans, kids that are fighting cancer, families that need to be close to family members when they're fighting, despicable diseases, no matter where they are on the planet. Let's put it where it is of greatest need, and that's animals included. That's where my heart lies.
Working or in conversation with a local organization, and hopefully with the success of Grinders, we were in discussion of having them in Grinders too.
Yeah. And
so we are looking definitely to give back to the community. Well, here in Tampa right now. And it is something that a lot of filmmakers or independent films, those people, it costs the people to make those movies. So it's you're definitely not on the plus side, but hopefully and fortunately that we can be on the plus side of it to be able to give back to some of these local communities here, because that's the way we are. Help us to help them, and it's not all about us. Yes, we are doing the Grinders hot seat to promote Grinders, the cast, the crew, and the movie. This is, to us, this is very important. But again, once the Grinders interviews are over, then the hot seat is open to the public, which we've had some real good responses.
Exactly. The whole purpose behind this is not self-serving. Yes, it does help us. It does get the word out. It does present us because we need it to. We need it to make money so that we can make the money we need so that we can then turn around and spread it around like manure to help others. But once this is all over, the hot seat doesn't end. We want other people to come forward. We want to be in a position where we can help
others.
them. We can help them forward, their dreams, their purpose in a community-based, event, whether it's local or internationally. And I know that we will have some international guests on the show at some point in the very near future, because that's the purpose behind this. This is not a self-serving, platform. We want to help as long as it's legitimate, and when I say legitimate, it's not something, nefarious. As long as it's legitimate, the whole purpose behind this is to really help people help themselves and help the communities in which they live, because that's what we should be doing as human beings, and really giving as much as we possibly can. I don't think anybody expects us to live out of our car or live in the bushes to give to a community. I don't think anybody would negate the fact that, we have a place to live. But, I see absolutely no point in living in a mansion, That's a lot of cleaning. I don't want to have to clean it.
I hate cleaning, but
I don't want to spend the money paying somebody to clean it. I'd rather have something that's manageable for myself and
Tangible
for
items.
whomever I may or may not have at that point in my life. But I can do so much more and do so much more good for humanity and for the people in the community on a global basis if I use that money wisely, intellectually, and in the right manner that really helps the people that truly, truly need it, that have been left behind and forgotten.
Okay. Well, this interview, the time has flown. It's incredible. A lot of information. You know what? A lot of your comments definitely come from here. You're not just spewing stuff out, and that's, I found that as the beauty of it, to listen, and is coming from a gift of the heart rather than people getting up and being obnoxious and being boisterous, and some of that is too much. So some people are too much of themselves to an extent.
Yeah.
One last question.
Yeah,
So
sure.
One last question. I know we could go on. We're not making it an hour show.
I know we
It's
could.
not an hour show.
Go ahead.
Last question, briefly. Advice to newcomers. Florida, a lot of newcomers. Everybody wants to be an actor all of a sudden. I want to act. How do I get involved? Without writing the book, briefly give them some insight and maybe give them a way to take that first step.
Wow, it's a great question because there's so many different directions I could go in. The first being, hey, buy my book, The Actor's Handbook. You can find it everywhere, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, and on giftoftheheart.com, and on Maximus Films, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think that's really relevant in this case. I think the best thing I can say is, at 62 years old, is if you have a dream, don't wait. Because there is a time when your dream will come too late. You will have waited too long and the opportunities will have been lost. If you really want to go after something and you truly believe it in your heart, just do it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the people that tell you not to do it. Don't listen to the people that say you're crazy. If it's what you love, it will survive. It will grow just like planting a seed. It's a seed. And it will take time. Accept the fact that it's going to take time. And as you water it, and as you tune your instrument, and as you grow, it will organically become an entity unto itself. And you will see the rewards of it over time. Don't be in a rush. But if you love it, go for it. Don't wait, because one morning you will be 12 and you will wake up the next morning and you're 70. And your opportunity and your passion and your purpose for the love of what you want and what you want to do, whether it's acting or anything you want in your life, is gone. You're out of time. We don't have an unlimited time. The moment we're born, the sands of time begin to run, and they run out. If I'm sure everybody's seen that glass when you turn it. The moment you're born, you turn it. That glass, that sand begins to run through that tiny little aperture to the bottom, and the whole time you're alive, that sand's running out. And every time you second guess yourself, and every time you don't take that chance or take that risk and go for something that you love or you truly believe in, is time that is lost, because you can't turn that glass back around and you can't get that time back. So my best advice is, if that's what you love, if that's what you want to do, just do it.
Like the sands through an hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Yep.
Unbelievable interview. So much insight, so much information given about you. People finally, to know him is to love him, to hate him. Well, you know what? I'm not liked by everyone, but that's just the way it goes.
Everybody's got an opinion, and
Everybody's
that's the
got an
glory of the
opinion.
USA. You're
So-
allowed to have an opinion.
So you have just seen the man behind Grinders. A lot of people have no idea. You'll see his posts. Sometimes I have to delete his posts. No, but going through them, this is how Grinders developed. And if you want to follow, like, share, comment, subscribe, please do so, because Grinders 2 is going to be something that none of us thought it would be. So we don't expect anything, but we know what's going to happen and where it's going to go.
Oops.
Andrew,
There's
thank you
one
very
last-
much for being on.
There's one last thing I wanted to interject before
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
you log out. Donna Segura and Rich Larson have steadfastly stood by me, especially Rich Larson, for probably 35 odd years. Donna Larson, the last 10 years, have steadfastly stood by me and believed in everything that I do and everything that I create. And for them, I owe an enormous amount of gratitude. Donna is a PR, Oleanda PR. Go look her up if you need a PR person. Go check her out. Go hook her up. She's excellent, and she's been, as we say in the military, she's had my six for a good 8 to 10 years. Rich Larson is an amazing artist, and I don't know if graphist is the right word, or graphic artist, but he's been doing graphics and stuff like that for over 40 years. An absolutely amazing person. And another very good friend of mine, Joe Mast, who's a photographer, got me into the opposite side of the camera, and my friend Tom Soley, and of course, last but not least, my best friend from high school, Ian Kutsi, who's still back in Africa. I love them all. They've always stood by me. They've always been with me, and I love them all to death. And for the family members I have left, I thank them as well. And for you and everyone else that has stood with me through this whole process of getting this film out there. Adler and Associates et al. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, because this is greater than me. It's greater than everyone, and I truly want to make my mark on the world, not as Andrew Heller, but as a person that took his creative abilities and used it to enhance and make people's lives better. And for that, I thank you for this opportunity, and I thank everyone listening.
You're welcome. I'm ecstatic to be part of this journey. A little bit later in my life, but you know what? The timing. This wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. This wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. But it's happening now. So take advantage of it. So it's never too late. Andrew, thank you very much for being on. That was great. And for you viewing in, thanks again for coming back and watching The Hot Seat. Your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscribes are really helping us out. We see it. We know you're viewing. It's called analytics on YouTube. it's a great thing. So again, thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you for viewing in, and we will see you the next time on the Hot Seat.
Love you all, and God bless you.